Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm going to share with you a clip from a recent live event. Myself and Blazekos, or Blaze, are going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking about the recent town hall, the layoffs, the missed opportunities of the last 2 years, and then where are the points of focus and maybe even the let's say the hurdles or hazards that are in front of us that prevent us from getting to the optimal or the future that we want. Because I think we can set a vision. And I think there already is a good vision with Matt at the helm. But man, what are things that are going to be standing in the way? And if we look to the past and what was missed, can we incorporate some of that in part of the new vision? I think maybe the answer is yes. And I hope the answer is yes. But stick around, stay tuned, listen to me and Blaze get into it. And if you want more members only content, check out the community tab on my YouTube page. Subscribe at whatever level you want, and you will be invited to members only live events weekly, and you'll have access to members only content on the channel. Thanks, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless. Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are having a good day. I am joined by special guest Blazekos, or just Blaze, and he's just putting his pooch out. But we're going to be having a chat today about Splinterlands. We're going to be talking about the big changes with the team. Hopefully talk about, even just, there's going to be some conversation around like frustration and where we're at. And I know some of you are walking in that. So I hope that is going to be something that is helpful and not just needlessly, whiny. Like that's where my heart's at. Like I'm feeling frustrated, but I want to keep it constructive because truth is, we've got investments. We want to see them thrive. And the truth is this week was like a bit of an acknowledgement by the team that things aren't where they need to be. And yet that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be shaken or torn or like terrified so we'll get into all of that. But also just hoping to hang out and see what you guys are wanting to talk about. First of all, since not everybody's going to know, how do we know each other? How long you've been, give me like a 1 minute on your story and why we're talking about Splinterlands together.
Yeah, well, it's one of the Web3 games that I gravitated towards more than any other game out there. I've had some successes in the past, and this is one of those long-term investments that I decided to DCA into over the years, and it's been a great experience.
Totally.
Came across you as one of your YouTube videos, and then I hit you up to join a guild because I was running around without a guild, seeing everybody get these Gladius cards. And then I dove it down that rabbit hole. I was like, oh, I'm missing the boat on this. So I jumped in with you guys last year. It's been almost a year now. Wow. I think it was November when I joined. So it's been a great experience. I've played just about every day. I really enjoy the game. I mean, just everything else aside, the game itself is a fun game.
Yeah. I love hearing that because that's true. And people will say things that that this sort of collectible card game is not going to be for everybody. I get that. But some of the haters will say that there's just no entertainment here whatsoever. And I can't even entertain that conversation. I mean, for one, I've been playing it for 5 years and I still play it. Yes, part of the picture and part of the excitement and part of the invitation and the joy or the desire to keep coming back does have some part to do with the financial opportunity that can be wrapped up in it. But it by no means is that the exclusive sort of justification for wanting to play it. I spent an hour this morning playing. I'm fighting in Modern now. And maybe we'll talk more about this later, but I'm moving into Modern because I was using XBOT to deal with my Wild, and Wild is permissible to do so I wasn't breaking any terms of service. But XBOT, nothing against them, but they're making a move and trying to find new revenue streams, and so they're changing how they charge their users. And I'm just like, no, I'll play the game. I don't want to share any of it. And frankly, I've been missing playing the game. And so I still was playing when XBOT was in there, but now I'm grinding. Like I played 40 matches today or something. And like, I'm going to do my best to stay on top of it. And I'm having fun playing the game and exploring Modern, finding, the totally different play style. So I mean, I just don't get it. You said it's entertaining. I totally agree. When people say it's not, man, everything from team construction, like buying the right cards, upgrading the right monsters at the right levels, finding the cool synergies, putting the right monsters on the field with a given, rule set or mana cap, all that to me is super entertaining. Let me see. We got 9 people hanging out. Drop a comment, guys. Let me know who's out there. I'd love to hear what's on your minds and how you guys are, how you're doing. I see Heraton Mukadafi. Love that name, dude. It's got some punch in it. And then I got Gregory's hanging out. Thanks, buddy, for popping by. Hello, all. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the town hall for sure. Bree and Dave. Old school Bree and Dave coming, like, I mean, honestly, probably since day one, I think we're hanging out. Virus, good to see you, buddy. I was trying to catch the your conversation, Virus, with and you guys should go check out the last, what's it, Splinter, the Twitch is wrapping up. Splinterlands TV is wrapping up, and so you're going to see some of your maybe favorite content creators wrapping up over there until the October 1st. So if you guys have been enjoying Splinterlands TV, recognize that that's coming to an end, and go support your faves. Go listen to them as they kind of sign off for the final time. Last night, After Sound, Darkest Night, and I saw Virus popped on. I didn't get to finish it this morning because I got called into a meeting, but I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. I'm excited to see, as much as everything has been crazy, and let's maybe transition here a little bit, Blaze, and we'll talk into the town hall. We'll talk into some of the disappointment, because there is room for that for sure. And but man, I'm also feeling some excitement. Where are you at with the town hall, with the layoffs, with aggro being? I think that I don't think he was pushed. I think he was probably, there's probably a conversation there. Where do you want to go? Like, what do you think about this stuff? There's some big changes here.
Yeah. There's a pick an alley here. Yeah, no, it's I think change was needed, right? So it's same as the game itself. Like, I play every day, but I'm missing. It's like we almost have to find a reason of why we're playing. Other than being entertaining, we need more events and more challenges and some structure to it. I saw somebody, I don't know if it was After Sound, somebody mentioned, or somebody on Twitter mentioned, finding a way to, like, checking records of, like, me versus you, how we've competed against each other over the past. What's the record, right? Mm-hmm. So we can add some excitement into the game and some more depth of making it engaging. Mm-hmm. But same with what happened, the surprising cuts again in staff, and that just goes back. I think you and I were talking earlier in regards to management, right? Looking from the outside in, I was a successful in the sales and marketing industry for over a decade, and I was able to retire early and just do crypto full time. And looking at their structure, I knew there was something missing. I've reached out to them, but they haven't replied back. I'll DM them, so it just shows there too, like, engagement with the community. That I already kind of, like, said, okay, they want to do it on their own. They don't, even a 5-minute call, just something simple, and they never, got back to me. I'm like, oh, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for work, but all I'm doing is looking to volunteer my time to point out areas that I see of weakness that we can help strengthen to help the community, right? Because that's the thing that was a little discouraging too. It's not really decentralized yet. This is still, a company that we're all buying assets from, and I know there's a DAO and stuff, but at the end of the day, they can pull the plug. So there's no decentralization going on, and that's why I advise everybody not to be overexposed to any investment, because little changes like this, even though this is a good change, it could go the opposite way, right? And it could be a negative thing for everybody who's invested in the game over the years. Things can go south. Somebody can quit that's connected to the website, and they can't get the website up and running. There's so many things that can happen that's based off of individuals that I highly encourage everybody just to be cautious whenever getting into things like this, because it is a risk investment, and it can do very well, or it could go the other way. Just be prepared for the other way. If something bad was to happen, you can't be overexposed, so you don't hurt your lifestyle.
That's an important piece of advice for anybody that's touching any investment. And yet I think there has to be spoken in the same conversation, the other side of the coin, where it's like, okay, so if you believe in what this is or what this could be, and those aren't necessarily the same thing. You might believe what it is now is awesome. And you might think, well, it's okay now, but I think it could be really special one day. And if somebody I saw, who is this? I think it was on the Aftersound, Darkest Night. Somebody dropped a comment and it said something like, "I'm a buyer at this time in Splinterlands because the risk versus reward." It's like, you're right. There's a ton of extra risk in a moment like this. Bear market's still persisting. Aggro just moved on, and now I think that's a good thing. I think that's actually a good thing, and we should talk about that in time. But
100%.
But this represents turmoil. This represents change. There has to be questions. You know, even Weirdbeard and I forget who else. I know some of the names, but I can't draw them off the top of my head right now. But those changes represent not just names that are gone. Those are people with roles that were serving certain functions within the company. And now we do have to wonder, even though I think it was probably ultimately for the best, finance-wise, runway-wise, you know, there are more questions, I would say, today than there were before that town hall, before those layoffs. Even though on the whole, I would be generally positive about those choices, about the direction, because it should shore up more runway, and because I do believe deeply in who Matt is. But my point really is like two parts. One, there are new uncertainties, and some uncertainties that were there before have sort of had light shined on them. So there's a bit more complexity, a bit more questions. Not saying I'm worried, saying that those are, I think, just true statements. And second part is, in the middle of that, if you still feel either confident about where we are or about where we're going to go, the moments where there is uncertainty is actually the moments where there's sort of the greatest opportunity. And that's what I liked about the comment. He was like, I'm a buyer because I think, you know, the outsized return possibilities that do exist. And like you said, everybody's got to take their risk. Everybody's got to recognize the risks that they're stepping into. They got to be careful about not going too far. But man, for me, I am now starting to think through, well, what would it look like to double my SPS? Where would that come from? How could I do that? What would it look like to start acquiring some more plots of land? And so I'm not saying I'm, beyond, or I don't feel some of the tension. I do. But, that's I think if there was zero tension, if there was zero concern, there would be less or no outsized return possibility. What do you think about that, Blaze?
Yeah, no, it's a good spot to be in for that in regards to if you're looking to accumulate more. But again, it goes back to that whole, the uncertainties. There's, I don't know if I have some friends that, they don't take good care of their car. They don't do the maintenance. They don't keep it clean. And then they talk about when they get a Lambo or get a high-end car. It's like, in my brain, I'm thinking, you can't take care of what you have now. How are you going to take care of something new, right? When you get it, or you can just visualize when it happens, Same with girlfriends and wives or whatever. Like, it's like, you can't take care of yourself. It's going to be hard. But where I'm going with that is, I just, the game they need more structure. And I think really, I'm kind of on hold until land's out. And not necessarily land 1.5, but once land's 1.5 is, see how that all stacks. So for example, land 1.5 comes out and 3 weeks later they have this feature they're going to add, Rooney, whatever. Add to it, it's successful, it's great. They're able to snap it on quick and it works without much much pain. And then they can just expand and grow. And then, okay, now you can see the ball moving. You can see where this is going. They really did need to build that base properly in order to, to make this a success. So yeah, I'm kind of on a holding pattern right now, just because of, how I see things. Yeah. And, the areas that I'm disappointed in, and like skins, like I've been asking for over a year. Just, it's like, if we want to attract collectors to this game, we need to have at least a full skin of every card, like not just a cut off, 2D image, how can creators, I can't grab that image, go get a friend who's a graphics designer, give it to him and tell him, hey, make something fun for this, or we can turn this into a vinyl and sell it, and generate revenue for the DAO. And, the individual can have a job by selling items, t-shirts and stuff, little things like that, like some badass graphics where we had a store where we can go to. And I don't think they see business like that, and not willing to put the time and effort of doing little things that would be very engaging for the community, especially when you have a community with over 10,000 users. You create a store, we're all going to want to volunteer our funds to have a physical item, a collectible, whether it be a souvenir or a t-shirt, something.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. You're onto something, especially because of the revenue, because of the part of the big reason for all these changes is in part, lack of runway. I think it's probably fair to say though, that some of those, like as exciting as that would be, as especially for us who love this kind of stuff, and the 10,000, like you say, I really think that's probably a fairly accurate number for the real human players. I do think all of that you just said, from give us things to buy, give us skins to buy, give us even merch to buy. But all of that needs planning. And the one question I want to push back on in that topic is like, how much would that move the needle from like a finance perspective? And not everything has to be a zeros and ones. Hey, you put, $20 million into the company's pockets. It would actually be important for, even from like an advertising standpoint, even from like a community building standpoint, if you give us a regular release of t-shirts, guys like Walking Keys and Gank, they make their own t-shirts. I make t-shirts. Like, why, like, just let someone run with that.
Well, that's it right there. How many employees did they have? Like, I worked for a small organization with 30 employees.
Yeah.
And we had all that and more, right? And it was a software company. It didn't have anything to do with gaming, and gaming's a lot more attractive than a freaking software company that's just for business, right? So it's not hard. You grab one or two graphics designers that you have in the office, you schedule X amount of hours per week to work on this stuff, and then you have one guy's managing that knows all the connections, and then you have a third party do the work. And there's commissions and stuff involved, and it's just a matter of doing the logistics and can get something rolling in no time. And it's that thing. They had over 60 employees or 100, whatever they had, and they couldn't find time to do something little like that. It's just
missed opportunity.
I don't want to be negative. It's not only that, it's that marketing. That's how you get. I'm walking around with the t-shirt, right? You guys are making shirts, but who wins with that, right?
Yeah.
We do as a community, but man, it can be taken to a whole new level, right? And with tournaments, you do a tournament, winner gets this and that. It's fun. Tangibles make things fun.
Totally.
And
I mean, I think there's kind of almost no arguing what you're saying. I think you're just objectively right, but it's like, at this point. Now, in this moment, I might say, even though I agree with you, I don't want to see them trying to pull those sorts of things off, unless it's literally a decentralized, like let the community come forward with these things, and maybe that's possible. But I don't want them. I want laser focus on land, like you said earlier. Like, land's got to get out. And go ahead.
Definitely now with the number of employees, right?
Yeah, missed opportunity before, but you're not calling for it today, is what I'm hearing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's it, man. Let's check in with the chat and then let's keep going. But let's see here. First of all, guys, thanks for coming and hang out. I see Agar Prime out in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. I saw you on Twitter saying you were going to stop by, so thank you. Deuce chatting it up with Aga, and he goes, Deuce had a question that I want to circle back to, Blaze. He goes, we definitely trimmed the chaff. I don't often use that word, very biblical. I love that. We trimmed the chaff with these layoffs. Marketing was non-existent and mostly irrelevant for some time. And he goes on to say, I feel bad for Weirdbeard, but competitive esports is a long way off, or maybe irrelevant considering the bot issues from the past. And there's a real, I want to talk a little bit about like who was let go and whether there's really any sort of, what did we lose something that we ought to have kept, and what about, and even we can get into future a little bit, but first there's just a couple more comments here just to say hi. Crossover between the company. Bree and Dave, I think the crossover between the company and the game causing problems. I never spent a lot of time questioning. I don't know what that is, WOTC, but I sure spent money playing it. Yeah. I left Magic the Gathering because Hasbro ruined it for me. I still have legacy vintage decks, but even then I have trouble finding table matches. And this is, to me, like, this is hinting at why a game like Splinterlands is so potentially valuable long term, because if you love a game like Magic the Gathering but you can't find tabletop matchups in your neighborhood, well, the blockchain just brings that right to your front door. And so
100%.
I really still stand by that this is something special. And again, and I know lately I've been questioning my own assertions, and I've been like, okay, wait a second. Aggie gets ousted. Now, I don't think it was like kicked out. I don't think it was bad blood. I don't, he and Matt they're good friends, I think, and they do butt heads as friends do. And I have no doubt that was probably a heated, serious conversation amongst the board. But I sincerely doubt that there's like bad blood or any sort of negativity. It's just like tensions are high, and we need to make these changes. And I think that was, at least me trying to read between lines, is what I thought I heard and saw. On the topic raised by Deuce, do you feel feel bad for Weirdbeard, but we're a long way off on esports. Also the marketing he talks about, and how, there was nothing really to market. I mean, I heard someone say we're marketing products we sold 3 years ago. And that's a shocking but true statement. And that's a problem, man. We're in some sense now marketing land which was sold years ago. And Rebellion was talked about forever ago, and we're trying to spark hype. Like, it's just like the release, the lag time on getting things out. But it feels like the team layoffs, not to say that anything bad about them, but just those layoffs with those roles weren't explicitly related to getting these products on the market. I might misunderstand what their roles were, but I'm saying, like, marketing department is not putting land on it's not making land playable. Do you think we went too far with what we cut? Do you think we didn't go far enough? Do you see a problem for the future with what they did there, Blaze?
Yeah, from the beginning, the business plan wasn't in place. The way that the whole you want to create recurring revenue. That's the best source, for a business, is having a recurring revenue that you can rely on every month. And that's where sales comes in, where you need to get a business plan in place and create products. I got to tell you, like the Zerial sale. Mm-hmm. Imagine if there was a Blazekos does this well. I don't know if they're, at least a year ago they were doing it well. But they would do drops of a certain skin, and there was a timer on it. So it really made people go, oh, this thing's only available for X amount of time. I got to get in it. Mm-hmm. Or there's only 3,500. I got to go buy. Mm-hmm. And you can do little things like that with not a high dollar value, but something that's beneficial to the game, whether it, like even like burnable items, like an audible. Say you have an audible, right? And you were able to buy audibles where you see the match and you see her playing against, and you have 15 seconds to make changes or something like that. Can you imagine? Yeah. Like little things like that. Just, there's so many. I mean, probably 100 ideas, 95 fail and 5 are awesome, mm-hmm. right? So it's like that all should have been put into place a long time ago. And I feel that there's no way you can hire that many people and not have that on your mind for recurring revenue and creating things that are engaging with the community, that are low hanging. It's like low hanging fruit. It's easy sales. Mm-hmm. And you would buy it. I would buy it if a cool, awesome looking skin coming out, and added a little bit of value to the card or something. I know you're involving devs at that point, and that can become costly. But I mean, there's just so many ways to generate revenue. It's not even funny. That's why I really like this game, because there's some people that don't even. I don't. Was it on your? Somebody was saying they don't even play the game. They just have cards and land, and they don't play the game, but they're playing the game of investing, right? They bought the land, they're sitting on it, and then they'll sell it 2 years down the road. It's awesome. There's so many lanes you can pick. and you can attract so many different types of investors and collectors and players. And that's the thing, like collectors is just so huge, man. That's a huge market. And that's just, I don't want Rebellion even, you're right, because it's like we can't even complete a card that we have now. Why are we going to get another, kind of like the whole car example I was giving you. Like, let's finish what we have now, fine tune it, and then move on to the next stage. Not just come out with a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of low valued items.
So what is the thing, what is the car that you have now that you want souped up rather than the new card? Like me, in your analogy, what do you say you don't want Rebellion right now because it's another new car, you don't even have the one you got finished. What would it mean to finish it? Like, are you saying you want more Riftwatcher packs, or what are you
we need to add character to the each individual card. So we see these cards right here, right? They look great, but you go grab any kind of graphic and you go ask the team, hey, I want a complete graphic of whatever, any of these ones. You'll go and there's like a 2D image and it's like a 2-inch by 2-inch square and the tail's cut off and the whole character's not there, so you don't have a full feel. Like, I think the alpha cards are pretty complete. They have a full 3D image that you can go access, and then you can do some fun stuff like I did with the plane and Aggie the other day. You can grab those and do some fun stuff with it, but this new stuff, there's nothing to work with. I saw something about the mushroom dude, like some 3D image. It was awesome, but there's no library for us to access that stuff. If they do have it, are they hiding it from us, or if
it's not particularly obvious, but there is. If you come into like Splinter Cards, for instance, and you go to cards, or you can access this from Splinterlands, but you come in, like, let's say you want an Asmirage, you can click on this card and then you can scroll down, you'll see the fullness. But you're right, it's not like this image in my screen is the full card of Ash Mirage, and now when you look at the card, there's borders that get in the way. You can't really see the people that are in front being terrified. So there is more picture than maybe is alluded to by the card, but I would argue there should be even more than this. There should be
exactly. It's a 3D model, like, of each character. Like, you put all this work into this. Like, let's get the department to 3D all of these, which they have done, but it's very scattered. There's no structure and organized. Hey, today we're doing card 1 through 50. Tomorrow we're doing cards 50 through 100. Next, you know what I mean? Or probably in smaller bites, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Every card should have a collectible vibe to it, and right now they don't. Other than just being a cool card, but again, you don't have this. Your imagination can only go so far.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that is all like from the art design, and it would be theoretically, it seems as though the art design is always working ahead. We heard Nate say that they're often like waiting for, for instance, card stats to be put on the Rebellion. The assets themselves are generally done. So if that's so, I would love to see more work done on this particular front. We've seen there'll be eye candy in the form of like a desktop image, which is great. I love that stuff. But yeah, like, we need to start moving through, updating some of that, giving some alternatives. And I think on the one hand, you're going to hear and you're going to find that will not observably move the needle in terms of clicks or, new player acquisition or even profit for the company. But I think if the art team is truly, as Nate has said more than once, moving faster than sometimes the other elements of the team are able to, let's get them kind of back-ending some of this stuff, upgrading some of this stuff, giving us opportunities as real lovers of this, as collectors, to pour into that. And then again, get creative with how we even outsource some of that. Like you said, you could do commission-based. Like, if there's somebody who can design great t-shirts and is willing to do so for literally just a slice of the pie, like, man, that I bought t-shirts when I was at Splinterfest. I want more of them. I would wear them. They're rad. But so I mean, I think there's important, and those are all part of to me, that's part of a player experience, because it's actually a community building thing. It's a thing where there's more to look at, more to do. It's not just the rank battle. There's other elements. Maybe I can earn these skins. Maybe I can, trade these skins. Maybe I can display these skins in a trophy room. Now, again, I don't want to get too distracted with because I think you got to come back. All this is great, but we got to keep coming back to the fact that layoffs happen because the runway is inadequate, and because main things like land 1.5 are still not out. And you know, as awesome as all of these things could be, and I think would be, you know, right now, I'm pleased to hear Matt's laser focus on two things: revenue generation and land. And he talked about rebellion within revenue generation. And we, you know what, let's transition actually on that topic, Blaze. Let's talk a little bit about revenue generation, because they specifically said in the town hall that they want to take $250,000 from the DAO as like a bounty to release the rebellion assets. That would be essentially money in their pockets. It would help the runway issue, it would help staffing, etc. But then the assets I think are already done. So it's literally just like almost like a bit of a front line, give us something, because you know we need money. And then second, a 50-50 split is what I heard on the pack sales.
Wouldn't you as a community just say, just take the whole dang thing? You know what I mean? Like, well, don't bring it to the DAO. Just, you guys take it all, extend your runway so we can start, you know, building other sources of income. So without having to fire more people, or bring Weirdbeard back and put him in a more structured role, like we can hire him as the DAO. Cool. But at the end of the day, the DAO really doesn't have control. Like, we can all vote on it, but at the end of the day, they have the choice at the end of it. You know what I mean? So it's still not officially a DAO. While it's nice and it's feel good, it makes us part of it. It's, you know, it's still not. So they wouldn't be firing people if they had, you know, structured the business properly and, you know, applied general sales approach to everything and built that revenue, then move on to the DAO, right? I think it was all, you know, it's all like, even with imagine if you bought a node for $3,000, I'd be very disappointed right now.
Yeah. I bought a couple nodes, but I sold them eventually. But,
right.
But
because
you said a few things there. I want to grab one of them. You talk about how, like you said earlier too, we're not really decentralized, and I think that's accurate. And then you talked about the DAO but one thing that would move us toward a true decentralization would be if, and Matt talked about this in that town hall, he said, look, we would like to, and we've always aimed at, moving to a future model where Splinterlands is a contractor for the DAO. The DAO is the organization that runs Splinterlands. We're not there yet, but that's the vision for the future. And that DAO would then be, would use DAO funds to hire Splinterlands, the company, to release Rebellion or to release, you know, some future pack or promo card, etc. And so this could be a move toward that end, because I think you desire that true decentralization, but you're being critical and saying, no, we're not there yet, and we're a long way off, and you need to focus on runway more than you need to focus on DAO. But I don't see why we can't move both needles forward at the same time, because you talked about, like, you just one more thought.
Just real quick.
Just one more thought.
Real quick.
The 7.5, like if we sold 3 million packs, $15 million, and we put 7.5 million in the DAO, that helps runway, because we can use those funds to equip them to move forward with other things, whether even it's hiring back Weirdbeard. Sorry, go ahead with whatever you wanted to speak to.
Yeah, no, and that's getting to the basics of being able to run the company, not relying on. They should have, you know, again, that should just be designed a little better internally, and I think that's what Matt's doing now. So I'm totally fine with it. I'm just looking left. Everything I've said recently, I'm just looking left on 5 years. You know, all that the management of funds over the years with chaos and everything. It's like, okay, they didn't do it perfect. Okay, but what we can do today, you know, from today onwards, is a whole other story. And I think Matt has that energy. The one thing about Matt is I hope he gets involved a little more with the community, because if he's spearheading it, he can't avoid. It's hard to be. Do Kwon did it very well, right? He got out there and he did dev work as well. So if Matt's going to be that special person for this game to succeed, which he is, because he was the one that created it with Aggie, but he needs to take the right approach and not have his head down for 2 months and not communicate with the community. Or if he does, he really needs that person on his right hand, you know, there to relay the info to the community. But I would say, you know, don't Don't turn town halls from weekly to every 2 months or anything like that. Try to have a good engagement with the community, like Aggie was doing on multiple levels. So I
Yeah.
think that's crucial.
I
If he's
agree
gonna
with you. I
spearhead it,
love
he
I love
needs-
the town
yeah.
halls. I love the town squares. I even watched Around Pretoria, which is Aggie's YouTube thing. I don't know if they're going to keep going forward with that or not. And I do want to see those things, but at the same time, Matt's not that guy. Like, he doesn't have that. You've seen him even on every town hall he's ever been on. He, like, aggro leads the conversation, and Matt just, like, matter-of-factly answers, and that's just a different character. I'm not being critical of one or the other. It's just a different personality. And he did say he wants to, like, reduce the number of times. But man, again, maybe there's community. Maybe there's, you know what could happen? Like, you just talked about decentralization in the form of content creation from the skins perspective. We talked about different t-shirt ideas and how you could generate through even commission-based, like, fans could generate, and then there could be sales, and those part of it could go royalties, like using things like OpenSea could generate, if they gave us permission, we could generate assets, sell the assets, and a slice goes to Splinterlands, a slice goes to the creator. Different things like that. With another decentralization that comes to mind as we look at even content creation from the weekly town halls perspective. If Matt won't, you know, the town square was an event that happened every other week, where it was literally just a conversation like this one today, where we're talking about Splinterlands, and we don't exactly know where it's going to go, and we're watching the chat, and we, you know, Blaze, you hopped on 5 minutes before we went live. So I mean, my thought is this: what if we as you know, we just laid off, I don't know, 50 different Splinterlands TV, you know, employees. They were employees. Why not, you know, maybe one or two of them are willing to come on. Some of the better ones that are like fan approved are willing to, or even a rotation thereof, are willing to come on and do like a weekly facilitation of conversation. They're not leading it. They're doing like Aggro and Weirdbeard did. I think there's ways to decentralize and keep that conversation going, because you're what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is the community matters. We need to stay focused on the community. We need to bring it together, whether it's new skins and getting us excited about the game, whether it's ongoing conversations. What do you think about that?
We need to be connected with them. So we can put the worst thing is we all put the time and energy into something like that, and then it gets rejected, or something happens and it doesn't connect with Splinterlands itself, and we end up all wasting our time. That's the only thing, and that's why we're missing somebody there at Splinterlands to help connect everybody together that has that business entrepreneurial spirit that's able to connect everybody. And that's an awesome idea. And have you seen the art? I've seen so much badass artwork, dude, over the years from the community that just gets lost. Yeah. But like plenty of those can be a skin, right? And that artist, like Blazekos does, they give a commission to the artist. So there can be a voting process where the community votes of saying, hey, each card's going to have 5 skins, right? Approved or disapproved, right? And if it's approved, then the creator gets a commission off of every sale. Yeah. And, you know, we can work on rare editions and stuff like that. But again, if we put that time and energy into it, we need to be secure that it's going to work out for us and we're not all wasting time. That's all I'm saying. I
feel like there's a win-win there, and I feel like there's there's an issue. There's a chat comment here from Virus, and it's connected to what you're saying, because we're talking about, and you said we can't just go forward on these issues and then watch them like fall or not be supported by the team. In some sense, that's about like a leader or a visionary or a voice that would be driving the messaging and making it, like pulling it all together. Like, hey, we've got 10 people over here who want to do it. I happen to know as that leader, and I'm not talking me, I'm saying like, I'm thinking Weirdbeard actually. And it's like, I know these 6 people over here could do a great job with respect to running a town square every other week or every single week. And from time to time, you could have a special guest, Nate pops on, etc. Like a People's Guild vibe, where where they get the team members popping on their own time to just chat about amazing things, sometimes dropping cool alpha. And I bring Virus's comment up in this context because he says, with the loss of Weirdbeard, I think we lost a bit of our voice with the team. I understand that the role didn't make the cut, but I think we will feel that in getting changes to the community wants. And I think everything we've talked about so far, Blaze, don't you think it's like we're really talking about the community wants certain changes, and I don't think it's just you and me. Around skins, around new game modes, around merch, around, ongoing conversations with the team and about the game. And some of that's all being just chopped off because voices like Weirdbeard are, some of the things he was driving for just couldn't be done. Money-wise, time-wise, we had to focus elsewhere. And so...
grab yourself, grab Virus, grab me, grab Weirdbeard, right? We work together 3 times a week, right? Planning one day, and then executing the other 2 days, right? And then take it to somebody at Splinterlands to connect it up and make it work, right? Mm-hmm. It's that easy, right? And I know it's not that easy, but it's that easy to put a plan of action together and then take action on it. Mm-hmm. And just think like the engagement with the community and stuff, and that's the thing about sales. It's like I've noticed a lot of them don't have sales experience because they say no a lot, right? So you have a community member that says something creative, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to implement it, but the way that it's shut down, like, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, we don't have time for that right now. This is the focus. It's very discouraging for the community. And what do the people do? A normal person's going to be like, all right, well, F you guys, then I'm going on to this other game, right? Yeah. and that's that happens a lot. I've seen it over the years with the game. Retaining community is very easy if you know how to communicate with them. And I feel that there's a lack of communication, and there's so many things that can be improved. And you volunteer your time, I volunteer my time, because we enjoy this space, man. And we really want the best of it, and we want the best of this game, and we see the potential with this game. And I think they spread thin a little bit, but now if Matt can regroup, bring this together, and we can put some things in place, and take action, man. That's the main thing, is taking action and doing things that matter. Cut out the things that that aren't productive, and lean on the things that are being productive. So land, for example, that's going to be a huge asset for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, and we should probably transition away from some of this, but I want to shout out Aga Prime, and he's echoing what you're saying, especially around the card assets. Because he used to do, like, he would do 3D renders, as I remember, of like your Rooney or different characters. And he goes, I agree, it was trying at times whilst animating, because I would have to finish images. Yeah, I mean, there's missed balls in that. Like, there's an oversight from a art and design, and even a community driven. Because you shouted out Blankos. I mean, they did it right, and I think there's still room for us to move in that direction. It's not like these are entirely missed and can never be circled back to. I want us to circle back. And one last comment before we maybe try a new topic. But Virus said, because Alex Toros goes like, we can just approach the team ourselves. We don't need a Weirdbeard, which in some sense is true. But Weirdbeard was trying to take the temperature of the room and report that back in meeting after meeting that we would never be invited to, and never can. It's not fair to expect we would be invited to. Can we reach out on Discord and drop a comment to one person? Yes, we can. But like Virus says, I guess I don't know who that person is that we message when we are next. When are the next set of tournaments being set up, etc. And it's like, you can just
it's intercommunications, right? Yeah.
You can start dropping emails, Discord messages to everybody is on the team, but who's going to handle it? And I know from my own, as a guy who runs a YouTube channel, I get hundreds or dozens at least of Discord messages, and I can't keep up. Then there's YouTube messages, and it's like, there's probably wisdom in those comments that I can't always touch. And so you need somebody overseeing it. But again, I get why we pulled back. Again, the real core, it has to be revenue generation and land.